This is the Anticoagulation-Advisor, written by David Shepro, MD, and Jack Ansell, MD. It consists of a guide that gives instructions regarding the use of the slide chart, and it consists of the slide chart itself and two sliders. One slider is based on warfarin tablet strength 4 milligrams or 2 milligrams, and the other slider is warfarin tablet strength 5 milligrams or 2.5 milligrams. For this example, I'm going to use the peach-colored slider, and because the patient in our example is going to be taking warfarin tablet strength 5 milligrams. I'm going to show you an example of how to adjust a dose of warfarin when the patient is already on warfarin. And I'm going to set the slider initially to 35 milligrams per week, which corresponds to a patient taking 5 milligrams each day, Monday through Sunday. The slide chart has two nomograms, one for target INR 2 to 3, and the other for target INR 2.5 to 3.5. Let's assume that our patient has a target INR of between 2 and 3, and the patient gets the INR measured. And in this example, if the patient's INR were measured to be less than 2, we would take the slider and go from 35 milligrams per week and increase the weekly dose up to 37.5 milligrams per week, which represents approximately a 10% dose change per week. And so the patient 1 day per week would take 7.5 milligrams. If the INR, in another example, were 4.2, the nomogram suggests that the patient hold warfarin until the INR is approximately 3.0, rechecking every day or so. In another example, let's say that the patient had an INR that was measured at 4.2. The nomogram suggests that the patient should hold warfarin until the INR is approximately 3.0 and recheck the INR every 1 to 3 days, and then decrease the weekly dose by 10 to 20%. So in this example, the patient would take either 32.5 milligrams per week or 30 milligrams per week. So for 32.5 milligrams per week, the patient would take 5 milligrams each day, and 1 day per week take 2.5 milligrams. That's how the slide chart is used in order to manage doses of warfarin. The slide chart has other information that can be very useful. We have a chart that is after the ACCP evidence-based guidelines written in 2008 regarding the management of warfarin-associated high INR. We have a nomogram written by Mark Carruthers that was published in the Archives of Internal Medicine in 1999, and this is one method for initiating warfarin therapy. Note that the first dose of warfarin is dependent on the strength of the patient, and other doses are dependent on the INR response, depending on how many days after warfarin is initiated. We have doses of parenteral anticoagulation medications. We have prophylactic doses and therapeutic doses of dalteparin, enoxaparin, tinzaparin, and fondaparinux. We also have a chart that can be helpful in determining the recommendations for length of anticoagulation therapy in patients who have venous thromboembolism. We have a chart that discusses the appropriate INR targets depending on the indication. And finally, we have an area that discusses when to bridge between warfarin and a procedure. We also have a section that discusses bridging therapy. We have discussion of when to bridge and how to bridge. So this is the Anticoagulation-Advisor, written by Drs. Shepro and Ansell, and it's available at www.anticoagulation-advisor.com. We also have this available on handheld devices. It works on BlackBerry, Android, iPhone, and many others. That's also available through our website.